Chapter 17, Why the Children Decided They Had to Get Rid of Miss Drizzle. Number 1, she was nice. I made cookies for everyone this morning, Miss Drizzle announced. Everyone cheered. Number 2, she thought up ways to make learning interesting. I made 5 dozen cookies, she said. There are 12 cookies in a dozen, so who can tell me how many cookies I made? Joe waved his arm back and forth. I know, he said. Okay, Joe, said Miss Drizzle. How many cookies did I make? 5 dozen, Joe said proudly. Number 3, she was patient. Yes, I made 5 dozen cookies, said Miss Drizzle. I told you that, but how many cookies are there? 5 dozen, said Joe. But how many cookies are in 5 dozen? Asked Miss Drizzle. Huh? Asked Joe. How much is 12 times 5? Asked Miss Drizzle. Just a second, said Joe. Can I use pencil and paper? Certainly, said Miss Drizzle. Joe took out a piece of paper and a pencil. He wrote the number 5 on the piece of paper, then tore it into 12 pieces. 60, he said. Nobody quite understood Joe's mathematical methods. Number 4, she was fair. Yes, there are 60 cookies, she said, and there are 28 children in the class. So how many cookies should each child get? Bibi raised her hand. 100, she said. You can't have 100 cookies, said Miss Drizzle. I only made 60. Make some more, said Bibi. I made 60, said Miss Drizzle. I'm not making any more. Okay, Bibi said with a sigh. I'll take 60. We have to divide them evenly, said Miss Drizzle. How many cookies should each child get so that every child gets the same amount? John raised his hand. Everyone can have 2 cookies, he said, and then there will be 4 left over. Can I have them? Asked Bibi. Allison raised her hand. Everyone can have exactly 2 1/7 cookies, she said. Very good, Allison, said Miss Drizzle. And John, you were right too. She gave everyone exactly 2 1/7 cookies. Number 5, she was a good cook. Best cookies I ever had in my whole life, said Stephen. Everyone agreed. I got the recipe from Miss Mush, said Miss Drizzle. You did? Several kids said together. I just added a pinch of this and a little of that, said Miss Drizzle. Number 6, she knew what a guzak was. Jason, would you please open the door? She said. Everyone gasped. What's the matter? She asked. You said the D word, said Dana. Door? Asked Miss Drizzle. Everyone gasped again. You're supposed to call it a guzak, explained Dana. Who said so? Asked Miss Drizzle. Mr. Kidswatter, said Dana. Mr. Kidswatter is a guzak, said Miss Drizzle. Yes, Miss Drizzle was smart. She was nice. She made learning interesting. She was patient and fair. And she even could make Miss Mush's cookies taste good. But she made Louis shave off his mustache. And so she had to go.